Okay, so this is the March 4th meeting, 2021 of the Freetown Finance Committee. Call to order at 5:37 p.m. And members present are Christine Ducras, Gary Martin, Carol Waldorf, Kent Wilkins, and Katie Cadetta. Let's see, let me get to that announcement. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, GLC 30A, section 18, and the governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Freetown Finance Committee will be conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance of the members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time by technological means. A recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of the proceedings will be posted to the town's YouTube channel and/or the Town of Freetown website, freetownma.gov. Okay, so I think that's all set. Okay, so it would really be nice if Peter Jankowski would be here to us, as he's supposed to be, but of him and no message from him. So I guess we'll proceed with the discussion on our own. So we've got the four different proposals. I don't know what order we will make them in. Does anybody have any feeling on that? No.
As long as we cover them all, I'm good.
Yeah, okay. Maybe we should talk first about the last one, about the size of the committee and whether it's appointed or elected. I looked at the spreadsheet that Mike sent around, and what I noticed is that actually very few communities have elected finance committee. I think it's only 18 compared to, I think, 6 that are jointly, partially appointed and partially elected, and 122 that are appointed. So it seems that appointed is the most common. And then regarding size of the elected ones, we're kind of at the high end. Most of them are 3, 4, or 5 members. The only ones that are 7 are Middleborough, Freetown, and Edgartown. Middleborough is much larger than us, and Edgartown is about half our size. There are only 3 that are larger. There's one with 9, and that's Sandwich, I think. Tisbury has 13, Falmouth has 15. I don't know how they managed to get so many people who would run.
But, so my question is,
they're appointed though, Gary.
Appointed by whom?
Oh, the spreadsheet says elected.
On our end, notwithstanding the importance of other communities, but my question is, if we have 5 members say they are appointed, who appoints?
Right.
Do we know that answer?
That was the other question.
No,
to be determined.
That's part of what we're discussing.
Okay.
This would be a proposal that the town meeting study committee would make to the town meeting, and then the change would have to be approved. I think it's a 2/3 vote, or maybe even a larger majority.
So I guess my question is, what is it that you want us to tell you? What we think it should be?
Yeah.
And then you take
Yeah.
that to the town?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah,
So
I'm not
can
sure
I-
where, yeah,
Just to make a suggestion, I think 5 people is very ample, and I think they should be appointed by the chairman and majority of the 5 or 4 or however many are in there. That's my opinion.
I'm not sure they can be appointed by the committee. Can they, Gary? Do you know?
I don't
don't
think
know-
they
I
should be
don't know.
appointed by the selectmen. I don't
Typically,
think
they're
they should
appointed
be-
by the moderator.
Yeah, I don't go for that.
Yeah, most of them seem to be appointed by the moderator. Well,
Right,
Yeah.
that's, yeah.
I don't know
Um,
if the committee can appoint them. I don't know if they have appointing authority. Even for the case
Yeah,
of appointed
Well,
me.
we
to
do
take
that
over
now.
somebody.
Gary does it now.
no,
appoint me. No, the selectmen
I
do.
make a suggestion. to
And the board votes on
selectmen.
it. So why can't we
But-
have that done, do it the same way?
You mean that,
Or the recommendation of the committee and then.
we-
Right.
appoint-
oh.
They would still be the appointing authority though, which would be a change in the bylaw.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
and, Yeah, Mike's suggestion last time, I think I kind of like the idea of it mostly being elected, but giving maybe the moderator the opportunity to appoint if there's a vacancy on, on short notice, that we don't have to take the time, put it on a select board agenda and then have them meet and have them vote on it. Yeah, it might make sense to shift the authority to him. I suppose we can still make a recommendation to him if,
Can you let, like, why are you more in favor of an elected position? What are the pros of that?
I think just that as a strategic thing, I think it's going to be hard to get it through town meeting to change from elected to appointed. When we saw what happened with the proposal for town clerk and the highway surveyor, making their positions appointed instead of elected, the uproar in town meeting was,
But I think
Yeah.
the difference with that is those are salaried positions.
Yeah,
We're not
that-
salaried.
there is that.
That makes a big difference.
Yeah. Although, being elected gives the impression of independence, whereas appointed, can be viewed as possibly, I don't know,
Politically motivated.
politically motivated, yeah.
That's why you have to have a neutral party, which is typically the moderator, be the
Yeah,
appointing authority.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I guess.
I just don't know,
yeah,
like, I
guess-
mean,
yeah.
is that hindering people from being on the committee? That I don't know.
Right.
I was
yeah,
hindered,
Yeah, right.
I'm more than
Um,
qualified to be on the committee, in my opinion, but I got hindered, so there might be other
Right, yeah.
qualified people who would be willing to do it, but don't want to go through that
The
part of it,
signatures and
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I
Yeah,
agree with that.
I do too. I think it's.
But I think we have to be careful about what it looks like what you said, if it is an
Right.
appointed position. And since we're not salaried and don't get any compensation, I think recommendations should come from whatever body is looking for a position, whatever committee is looking to fill its memberships, because that's just my opinion. I think we can ask for recommendations from the moderator and from whoever, but I think it's just more sound. I think it's been successful when you can find people that you can work with.
Yeah. Katie, you were in the middle of saying something, I think.
Yeah, I have to say, I am more in favor of an appointed, spot versus, an elected. Um, Also in agreement of, there are some people that may not want to do it, if they have to go through the means of being elected. It might,
Yeah.
you might not gain as much interest as if it were just.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm in agreement with that. Yeah.
And how about
Yeah,
the
and
number of people? Do you think 5 is
number of,
sufficient?
yeah, I think especially if it's appointed,
Mhm.
if it's elected, I think it's,
I think Ken
I-
Is
had a
there,
point on that.
yeah.
is there space to say 3 to 5? If you have
Oh,
3,
You
it
want to
works.
think
If
about a quorum though.
3 or 5.
why 3?
Well, because you probably have 3 already. Well, you have 4, 5.
5,
Just,
yeah.
I'm just trying to
Yeah.
make it simplistic.
Yeah, yeah, I really don't think the town is going to go for shrinking it too far.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I would think 5 would be good.
Ken had a
Um,
point on the quorums though. The more members, the less, it changes the quorum number though, doesn't it?
oh yeah, yeah. With 7, the
It
quorum
does.
is 4. With 5, it's 3.
Right.
Yeah.
So do we have to come to an agreement for a recommendation?
We're not in a hurry. That the study committee has until the end of the year to
Right.
make their recommendations.
Are you on that, Gary? I assume so.
No, I am. Yay.
Oh,
No.
you are?
No,
Yeah, I'm on it too,
That's
Carol.
Ken.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
And it came up and we had,
Um,
so we just figured we'd get the finance committee's take on it.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to
Yeah.
recommend anything you
You
guys,
want-
we wouldn't want.
Well, it sounds like
I
we're in
mean,
agreement with 5 and appointed.
some towns do a mix of elected and appointed.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Using,
I mean, one possibility is that we could have 3 elected positions. Since the terms of 3 years, we'd have 1 person up every year, and then 2 appointed positions.
What would the
Yeah.
benefit be of doing that, having it split?
I don't know. um, well, oh yeah, I think I do know. Well, I mean, it certainly has a benefit over all of the positions being elected in that we would only have to find 3 people willing to run, and we could appoint the other 2, or the moderator could appoint the other 2. So that partially solves the problem of not having enough people running. On the other hand, it doesn't make it. I mean, it makes the majority of the board still elected, so it avoids the appearance of, politicization of the board in terms of being orchestrated by the selectman or the moderator.
Suppose instead of one person appointing somebody, you had like a 3-member committee to appoint someone.
Where would that committee come from? Like,
Well, moderator would definitely be one. I don't know.
yeah, maybe
I'd
treasurer.
say we want to stay away from the select board.
Yeah. Um, let's see. There's one town, I have to scroll over to see what it's Bolton. The appointments are done by the moderator, the clerk, and the chair of the board of selectmen. There's one town where or several towns where it's the moderator, chair of the board of selectmen, and the chair of the finance committee.
That sounds kind of muddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think, Christine?
Do you really want to know?
I do.
Shut the tape off. No. Yeah, I do.
I think we shouldn't be that picky with who appoints.
Okay.
Honestly, I think you want members, you're there. I mean, you're gonna put them through a quick interview. Anybody knows what to say. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
as long as it's a town official and it makes sense. I don't think we should really nickel and dime that, so to speak, so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you think the moderator is the moderator elected?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so he's elected, so we elect him to trust him. The Board of Selectmen are also elected. We elect them based on trust and what we expect from them,
Well,
That's
the
right.
reason I say not the selectmen is that when we get into the budget, they may be headed one way and we may be looking at another way. And I think part of the finance committee is we're supposed to be overseeing them on money items.
Right.
So for them to recommend us to oversee them, I guess that's why I say I'd rather stay away from the selectmen as far as having a
see that.
say in what our committee is.
Yeah. Yeah.
It puts them in an awkward position.
It does. I think the
Yeah.
moderator should be the appointing authority.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe the moderator and the chair of the finance committee could work together.
Right, exactly. Like, I'm not sure the moderator would appoint somebody without talking to,
Exactly.
Yeah.
or if we had somebody in mind, vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know whether that can be written into the bylaw or whether we have to trust that will happen. Yeah. So is there strong feeling one way or another about entirely appointed or split?
I think split is too confusing. It's too much. I think it needs to be all or nothing on either way.
I feel the same way.
Me
I
too.
agree with that idea, all or nothing.
Okay. Okay. So our recommendation sounds like 5 appointed members appointed by a moderator.
And the chair of the finance committee.
Well, I don't know whether that can be written to the bylaw.
I
or
think we
not.
ought to ask.
Okay.
You could ask,
Yeah. Yep.
you know.
5 appointed by moderator and chair of.
Oh,
finance
maybe
committee.
with finance committee approval or something to that effect. I don't think you can have two appointing authorities.
Yeah, that's probably true.
You know,
Oh,
so
yeah.
Should be an odd number in case there's a dispute.
right. But yeah, maybe like 5 appointed members, appointed by the moderator with finance committee approval.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's great.
Or
the
you could say
moderator-
recommendation maybe would be an idea. That way finance would have some input, but of course the
Yeah,
final thing would be the moderator.
yeah. So it would be like we do it now, except that it goes to the moderator instead of the personnel board or whatever the selectmen are called in that role.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, that's only if we got an unexpired term,
right, right,
in the middle of the year,
right.
like
right.
what I just did.
Yeah. Right, but that's procedure now for that situation. And if we carry that procedure over to the full board, if it becomes appointed, and change the appointing authority to the moderator instead of the selectman.
One thing that wasn't talked about was the terms of the appointment. Would you still have the same terms? 1 year, 2 year,
So-
3 year? Would it?
Oh, no, the 1 years are just to fill expired terms
Okay.
that happen because somebody resigns or whatever. So that, I guess it would be 3-year terms.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless there's an unexpired.
Right, sure. Yeah. Okay. So do we want to take a vote on that? Or do we want to just leave that for the time being as our current feelings?
I'm ready to vote. I don't know about
I
anybody else.
I didn't know if you wanted to wait for Craig, but
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah.
Voting.
And not only Craig, but Bob.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they're not here, but anyway, I guess we can vote if somebody wants to make a motion.
I'll make a
So,
motion.
go ahead, Christine. I was just going to sum up what the motion was. Go ahead.
Katie, not me.
Oh, go ahead, Katie.
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
And
Let's spell it out so I get that clear.
Mhm.
That the moderator appoints,
That the town moderator appoints. Do we have to do this 2-part? Is it because are we changing the number of members?
5.
5. Okay.
I know I have to look at the way the bylaw reads now, but I think our motion can combine it.
Oh.
I suppose I'd say that, let's see if I can put this into words, that the finance committee shall consist of 5 members.
5 appointed members.
I was going to say appointed in a moment.
Oh, I see.
Recommended by majority vote of the finance committee. I'm writing this while I'm talking, so it's slow. And appointed by the town moderator. Does that
Yeah.
sound okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so Katie, that's your motion?
That is my motion.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second. Christine,
Christine, yeah. I'm getting better at identifying people by voices when I'm not looking. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, Christine
Aye.
and Carol
Aye.
and Kent
Aye.
and Katie
Aye.
and Gary, aye. Okay, one down. Let's see, now where did,
When would this take effect? Probably, all right, definitely not this election, but maybe a year from now. No, actually, the town meeting has to vote on all this stuff too.
right,
All
yeah,
right, we're
so,
planning for fall, aren't we, Kent? Bring it forward for the fall town special meeting? think that's
The
the plan.
bylaw committee has until December to write out all this stuff, so that means it wouldn't hit town meeting
No, we
until,
actually talked about it in the last meeting, whether we wanted to put some of these forward at the annual in June.
that's true, that's
So
true.
I think we'll be
Uh,
ready by the fall for everything.
yeah, it could go
Yeah,
faster than we.
usually stuff like this would be done at a
Your
fall
mandate.
meeting as opposed to the June where it's more of the finances.
Right, right.
Yeah. Okay, so, yeah, the sooner we get it settled, the faster we can implement it. Let's see. So how about the third one? I guess working backwards here. So that was the issue of who prepared the budget. So it's a conflict between a couple of articles in the bylaws as to whether it's the town administrator or the finance committee. I mean, the town council says that it should be the administrator based on Article 3.3 taking priority 4.3. And I guess I'm okay with that. Is there agreement on that? That it should be
I
the.
agree. We shouldn't be preparing a budget.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
thinking there's a town administrator, maybe with the town accountant, accumulates all the data.
That's how it's
And-
typically done. It
Yeah,
just becomes the town administrator's budget. That's what
Right.
it calls.
Right, okay, yeah.
okay, so then we should suggest that Article 4.3 amended to align with Article 3.3. Okay, so I guess we should vote on that. So we need a motion, I guess, to amend 4.3 to give the town administrator the job of preparing the budget.
I'll make that motion.
Earl. Have town
If you're ready, I will
administrator
second
prepare.
that motion.
Okay, I'm ready. And second, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Yeah, aye. Okay, so Christine
Aye.
and Carol
Aye.
and Kent
Aye.
and Katie
Aye.
and Gary, aye. Okay, so we're done with that. So let's see, I was still hoping Peter would show up for discussion of the timeline. So the question is when do we want the budgets to come to us.
You know,
Currently, it's supposed to be February 1st. Yeah.
do we dictate that though, or is that a town thing? I don't think the finance
Well,
committee can say, you need to give us the budget by February 1st. If the town's not ready to prepare that budget and have that ready,
yeah, well, it's the bylaw that dictates
The
that.
bylaw, I believe, says the 1st of February.
Yeah,
it says they
And
need to get it to the
that hasn't
finance.
happened, that hasn't happened in quite a while.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what I said. It says it needs to be to the committee, but is there somewhere in the bylaw that says the budget has to be done by February 1st? I've
no,
never, yeah, it's just,
no.
and
Um,
it's tough. That's a tough timeline.
yeah,
Things change, everything gets crazy, just
yeah.
from
And
being
it-
in the work.
Yeah, and especially with the school budget, which is so dependent on information from the state.
Right, yeah,
that-
'cause that's
yeah,
the
there's no
thing,
way
we
that we don't control that at all, and I think pretending that we do is not productive.
Well, if we have a lot of it in early February, a lot of the departments can get pretty much summarized and we're all set to go. It's only the big ones that there's more input on, police,
Yeah.
fire, highway, COA, for example.
I think I mentioned this in the other meeting. I don't know if I mentioned it in this one.
hmm
Where, like, does this committee meet with the department heads to go over their budget individually? If that's the case, yes, we need more time to be able to do
Yeah,
that.
Yeah,
I
we
was
have
over there
done it
last
in the
year.
past. We have done it in the past, and we've had a joint meeting with the selectmen and invite department heads in.
Yeah,
would-
in recent years, it's been joint. Yeah, I think in the past, sometimes when I had a question, we've invited like
Not just when you have a question,
head
like
of
I
the
know
large.
in my community that I
Yeah.
work for, it was just each department had to meet with the committee. If there was a schedule set up and every week they'd have a meeting and a different department would go in, regardless if there was a question or not. It was
Yeah,
just an opportunity for the department head to explain their budget to the committee, whether there were questions or not. Like, so
Yeah.
it's only if there were questions that it comes up.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, my personal feeling is that that's an awful lot of meetings.
It is, yep.
Yeah, and I'd prefer just to do joint meetings with the selectmen and do it whenever they're ready to.
Yeah, see, again, different type of government. We had a town manager, not a town administrator. So the selectmen, the town manager met with the departments, then the departments met with the committee. They didn't meet with the selectmen at all.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, that depends on how long you need to review the budget too,
Yeah, right.
We don't want to be rushed, but I think, a lot of your departments, the only changes might be related to union contracts. Somebody gets a raise and like your clerk or something, and you put that in. If everything else is basically the same, we don't really have to meet with that department.
Right.
But when you get into the bigger ones, I mean,
But
there's
I
enough
don't think
changes.
it's necessarily a bad thing when you have new members because they're not familiar with the budget. So just because it's the
Right.
same as prior year, it doesn't mean that new member might not have questions on the budget in general, such as myself.
Right. Yeah.
No, that's true. That's
Right.
true.
So even though it's the same as the prior year, there may be something in the prior year that I don't think should be in there, and I don't get a chance to know what that is because I'm unfamiliar.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point.
So I don't think it's a bad thing.
So
Yeah.
are you saying that you wouldn't want to start this until after the election and have the new members from basically day one to go with it?
Well, I think that's another consideration and we did discuss that with it being in February and then, change of committee members possible 2 months later, and they come into a budget that was recommended by the previous committee that they may not agree with or whatnot.
I know, well, that's what hit me when I was first elected. I walked in the first meeting of April and the budget was probably 3/4 done.
Right,
And I didn't have any clue as to what a lot of these departments were. Because I wasn't knowledgeable, you know?
right, right.
Right, yeah. So why don't we just
You know, if we
recommend
do
that we
to
align those
appointed
dates?
positions, though, let's talk about that. If we went to appointed positions, then that April date isn't probably gonna matter. You can change the,
Oh, the start and end
right, couldn't
to
you?
the
Yeah,
terms.
yeah.
Sure. That's a good point. Um,
In other
yeah,
words, have an appointment, say, 1st of February, and then we can
Right.
I
go
would think
from
it would
there.
be after town meeting, once
Uh,
everything's done, so maybe like
yeah, I mean, we could
fiscal
make
year
it
basis.
we could make
Oh, yeah, we could
fiscal
wait,
year,
yeah.
yeah. Um,
You know, like a
That
new
way you seek,
appointee starts July 1st, yeah, that's a good
I don't think
point.
anybody should be coming on in the middle of fiscal year. That gets confusing with reserve funds and stuff too.
yeah,
That's very
yeah.
true.
If you're
Yep.
there, you know, for the whole fiscal year,
Or maybe like July 15th, because we sometimes have transfers from
Yeah, a
the
little bit
the
of
previous year,
carryover.
fiscal year
that's a
that
good
hasn't
point,
ended,
Gary. Yep,
yeah,
yep, that's a good point.
yeah.
Yeah,
That
so I mean,
should,
I don't have a problem with that date if we change everything. It's just a matter of, you know, we're pretty much gonna get it when the town's ready.
yeah. Yeah, agreed. Yeah,
I think
so,
as long as we're not rushed before the town meeting, in other words, so we could do our due diligence and meet with whoever we have to and come up with whatever. And we've got to meet with the selectmen so we're substantially on the same page, because you don't want a town meeting where the selectmen and us are both on different pages. We could be there for 3 nights, you know?
Right,
We don't
right.
need that either. Because the voters will get totally bored. You're going to have a couple of disagreements, yeah, but we don't need it on everything, you know?
um, so the question is, do we try to amend our 4.2 to eliminate a due date altogether, or do we replace February 1st by something else?
Or leave it as it. I mean, there's no repercussion if they don't make the date like this year.
Yeah,
You know, we didn't get it by
Well,
February 1st. I mean, it is what it is, right? Like,
yeah,
yeah. But as Bob says, the school committee has never come up with their budget before last minute.
right.
yeah,
And that's a big key to a lot of what we do. If they are looking for a lot more stuff that they duly need, we may have to go back and review things and cut here and there. That has happened in the past.
yeah.
Do other towns have penalties when departments don't submit their budgets on time?
I would say probably not.
Okay.
I mean, you can't fine them, you can't fire
No, I don't
them.
mean fine them, I mean cut, you know,
Their budget.
their budget, you know,
Yeah.
by whatever percentage for every day.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I'm
I mean,
just,
we're only a recommendation. We don't have the authority to cut a budget. We can just
Yeah,
recommend.
no.
cut.
okay.
we,
You know.
we make a recommendation,
Right.
whether we give
The
an
budget still
increase,
goes forward
a
as
cut,
is.
or what. Yeah, and it's the voters that make the final decision.
It goes in as requested and then it just.
Mm.
Yeah, they request X, then we come up with Y, selectmen come up with Z, and the voters kind of got to pick between the 3 or have their own number.
Or by a vow.
Okay.
Let's see, so we still
All
have the
right,
question of what to do.
All right,
Wouldn't do anything, in my opinion. I would leave it. If we, as long as I think as long as the dates get changed with the appointed, if we go that route,
Yeah,
I think we're okay. I think, and Ken
That
brought
makes more sense. It
up in the
does.
meeting, it's the new committee changing in the middle of a budget that can get complicated. That's why we were
Right.
talking about pushing it to April so that the new members who get elected would be able to do that. But if that's not the case anymore, I think it's irrelevant.
yeah.
well, if we're
okay.
talking about appointing new members starting July 15th, for example, we could have the due date of these things anytime, as long as we get
Right,
time
that's why I
before
said, why
town
change
meeting
it?
to do it.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
February 1st has worked for as long as it has. I mean, to me, that if we get it, that's plenty of time before June.
oh,
yeah,
yeah,
but we'll never get to school.
The school's over.
Yeah, but you know as well as I do, Kent, the school's not really a big deal. They get what they ask for, and it is really not a lot of.
Well,
Only the most expensive.
no, I remember one year they proposed budget was about a $2.5 million increase, and sitting in the regional school committee, right off the top, we cut 1.8.
Yeah, we didn't cut. They had to cut
No, this
based on
was the regional
recommendation.
school
Like I said,
finance, the one that Katie's involved with.
yeah.
um,
And I think they learned after that they can't try to grab too big a piece of the pie because it's just not flying.
The school budget is a very complicated budget as well.
yeah,
Oh, definitely, yes.
yeah,
And
In the school, a big piece of that is your employees and their benefit packages.
but you always want to have a good school system because that's what keeps you,
Yeah, I'm not saying we don't want it. It's just a matter of,
that's why I said
what
most
the
people
school-
like invest in their school because that's why it's like it's not questioned.
well, sometimes
My
it's a matter of what the towns can afford.
Yeah.
yeah. We always have the complicated issue of well, lately it's been what Lakeville can afford
Right.
because they don't have the tax base that we do. Yeah. So let's see. I guess we probably need two motions. One is to have terms run from July 15th, and the other to leave the February 1st due date as alone.
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Which one?
I'll make a motion to leave the due date for the budgets as is.
Okay. And have a second?
I'll second. It's Katie.
Katie, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, Christine,
Aye.
Carol,
Aye.
Kent,
Aye.
Katie,
Aye.
Harry, aye. And I guess also a motion on the starting date of the appointments.
Would that to coincide with the budget?
No, to
No,
start on
I think we're going for the
15th.
July
Or did
15th.
you go with, okay,
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, Kent appoints start July 15. Carol, you second?
Yeah,
Did I hear that? Yeah.
yes.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Christine
Aye.
and Carol,
Aye.
Kent,
Aye.
Katie,
Aye.
Gary, okay, so we have the first, yeah, Kent?
Yeah, I was going to say this is definitely a bylaw thing, and I don't see, if the town meeting goes along, why can't they do it? That's the thing. So we should be good.
Yeah. let's see. Oh, I kind of hope that they don't choose which of these to approve and leave us with a partial solution. Things may conflict somehow. Okay,
Well,
so then,
Christine and I will be there to hopefully,
yeah.
persuade the rest of the committee.
Well, I'm talking about the town meeting.
Yeah, the bylaw committee I'm referring to.
Yeah, no, but I'm
Well, I mean,
concerned.
they have to write the article to begin with.
Yeah,
And if they don't go along, then we're going to have a different article, and who knows where we're going to be.
yeah. Okay. Okay, so let's see. So then the last one is recommendations. Question is whether it's just financial articles or other municipal matters as well.
In the past, we've
guess,
always
yeah.
done just the financial, but there are times when you need to say something about another one, like when Katie and I were talking about, I think the planning board, if they want to put a 5-story condo and we need a fire truck.
Yeah,
And my immediate response was, I don't think I want to buy a fire truck right now. And Katie, thinking a little bit in the bigger picture, well, this thing's going to give us tax money that'll pay for that fire truck if
yeah,
that's what we want to do.
right.
Did I sum up your position, Christine?
Or,
Katie.
okay.
Right?
No, it was Christine. We were talking at the
Oh.
bylaw thing, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't recall. I know there was a lot of discussion. I believe it should only be financial articles. I know we talked about everything having a financial impact. But yeah, something like that right off the bat. I
Yeah.
think it wasn't me that said that because I said I don't, 5-story building we talked about. I don't remember the fire truck. As far as the building,
Well, I mean, I remember meeting Kevin Damaris was on chair of the planning, and he says, well, if we do this, we're going to need that. And this was a few years back. It wasn't recent.
okay, let's say I don't remember.
And at that point, I wasn't really thinking anything planning board was going to affect the budget. But there are times it could conceivably be an issue.
And I agree, but it's always down the line, and I don't think that it should be this committee's job to decide that. It depends on what it is, but I think we should only be recommending based on the impact of the current year.
Hmm.
Because nobody knows how it's gonna play out in other years. I mean, what
No,
we
you,
might
you don't.
suspect
You
might not happen.
don't. I know you're making an assumption that
Right,
if they may or may not approve the 5-story condo, in which case we wouldn't need the fire truck. So
right.
And it would get into road approvals and
That's like zoning
rights
laws
of way and
changes.
zoning. I
yeah,
mean,
Yeah.
how
there
do you
can be a
put-
lot
how
of
do you
things.
stop? Everything has a financial implication in the future.
Exactly.
Right.
So
But I
it just
think
depends how you
if you're
wanna.
looking ahead, like for example, roads, I think the highway department would say whether or not they were built correctly. If we're looking at planning, they should have the expertise to know what it's going to affect,
I mean,
or
my
zoning,
point is,
or anything.
my point is signage, it's plowing, it's everything. It's not
Yeah.
only approval.
But should we not make a road because of that? Right.
Correct.
I don't think that's our decision to make. It's part of running the town.
No, I don't want to be a selectman, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Yeah, that.
So,
I think we should just stick to budget.
The financial items, is
Items.
what you're
Yeah.
saying. Okay.
Things we're gonna buy this year, things we're gonna do in the current year.
Current financial items.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so that would restrict us and not allow us to make a recommendation on other things? Is that what
Well, I
you're?
think if we're looking at the current budget, we wouldn't look at those things, but I don't see, I mean, if it's something like a 5-year plan of building a new library. Or, no,
But
that's not
that
a
would
good
have a
example,
financial
but
impact in the current year
absolutely,
because you
yeah.
have expenses in that year.
yeah.
I mean, when you're
Expenses
talking
for
about,
that year.
let's change the zoning on this map from residential to commercial. You know, that doesn't affect us. I mean, yes, in the long term, we don't know anyone's gonna buy that. They're just looking to change the zoning right now.
Mm-hmm. Or could we decide on a case by case where if we don't think there's any immediate impact, we could say no recommendation?
And I kind of think, you know, that goes back to changing the committee to more of an advisory committee than a finance committee.
All right. Hey, we could change our name to Advisory and Finance, but
You know,
No, please.
talk about it's a finance committee, it should be
No.
finance related, financial related.
all right, no,
Yeah.
no, that makes sense. Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
I'll go with that.
yeah.
So you want a motion that we consider finance articles only, talking something with a dollar implication?
How do you want to word that?
I mean, is it always fall into that category?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Is it always clear which articles should be considered financial?
I'm not sure about Freetown. I know in our committee, like, yeah, Article 4 is always the budget, Article 5 is those capital items. I don't know if it's like that here.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to probably put the article numbers anyway, just in case they got shifted.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we'd have to look at a typical warrant. Yeah.
Why would we change the way it is now?
It says we recommend on all.
Yeah, usually what we do is go through article by article. And if, and decide whether we're going to make a recommendation on it. So either we recommend for or against, or make no recommendation. But each one we consider and decide which of those.
So I guess my question is, what's wrong with the way it is now? If it doesn't have a financial implication, immediate financial implication, we just say no recommendation. But if we see that, whoa, this is going to impact us next year because we're going to need new sewer lines if we build this neighborhood, or if it's zoned, you know, we might have something to say on that. And right the way it is now, we have something to say. We can say something. Well, I guess, why would we exclude our comments if there comes a time when we need to make a comment or a recommendation? Should we close that window?
You got a good point. I don't know. I'd have to have an example. I just think.
I
it could
know,
be,
I can't,
You know,
yeah.
time wasted, like going through all these articles that there's no need to go through.
right.
You know, again,
Yeah.
to me, we're a finance committee. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, I mean, I see your point.
I see
It's
it both
very
ways.
clear.
Yeah,
Like, right, yeah,
yeah, I guess my question is what if we disagree among ourselves as to which,
Our
whether an
financial or
article
not.
is financial or not? Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a good point. So then maybe just leave it as is.
yeah,
We got
Yeah.
nothing to lose by doing that.
exactly.
Yeah.
I,
that would
I'm
be
sure
my
they put it this way
thought,
because
yeah.
this discussion probably took place.
It did, and I'm like, I mean, and I said it when I started, I'm still just financial. I'm all about just the financial, but you know,
Yeah.
if that limits some things, we'll leave it as is. It doesn't hurt anything
Yeah.
by doing that either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I personally wouldn't feel comfortable recommending anything other than financial. I
Yeah.
don't think it's my expertise to decide whether a zoning or a road should be built or, you know.
Right.
Generally, we look at that stuff and we say, all right, nothing immediate, no recommendation. And there's
Yeah.
no big, long discussion on it.
Yeah, that's what we normally do.
And let's leave it as is. I mean, if nobody has
Yeah.
any thought either way. Katie, do you have any comments on that?
Not so much, no.
Yeah, it's really not.
I don't know.
Okay, so do we have a motion to leave it as is?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Carol? Is, and a second?
A second.
I think I heard Katie first, or was it Christine?
Christine.
Oh, Christine, okay. Maybe I can't tell you.
Yeah,
apart.
you're getting good at this, Gary.
Is that
Yeah.
it?
I was in there somewhere, but probably not
Yes,
second. That's okay.
I did hear you. Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Christine
Aye.
and Carol
Aye.
and Kent
Aye.
and Katie
Aye.
and Gary, I. Okay. So we have our recommendations to make. Now, somehow I'll have to write that up. Okay, so I guess the only other thing is to get a report from Katie on the Regional School Finance Committee, see what's happening on the budget there.
So we've only had one meeting. We are meeting again next Tuesday. In the initial meeting that we had, there was some, I'm sorry if you hear my dog barking. There was some questions regarding the CARES Act funding from Freetown, and that we had not met our share percentage at that time. And she was looking into that, but it looks like that we are still on the table to pay around $93,000 of that to meet our, I think it's 43%, 42% of that.
So that's an obligation that we have? Is
Yeah,
that what you're saying?
yeah.
Okay.
This is what we've received from the CARES Act and what's going towards the school. So we haven't met our percentage on that yet. And it was around 93,000 when she estimated it. You'll notice in the packet that you sent out, it notes that there's an increase in Chapter 70, funding $30 per student. Just so we know, that's potentially a one-time gain
Okay.
there, so that might not follow in years after.
Okay.
Another thing we're still waiting on is seeing the savings breakdown from the energy improvements.
Yeah.
They're waiting for reports on that, but I'm curious to see.
When did they make energy improvements? How long has that been?
That's been,
Do you know?
I don't know how, I know they did some projects last year, but I can't answer. I don't know how far back it goes.
I just know it can take a while.
Yeah. So I'm just, this is really my first year on that school committee, so I'm not sure
Sure.
what they've done prior years. So that's to be determined. And then health insurance, you see they're budgeting flat, but FY21 did come in lower than they had anticipated, and they used the surplus to fund deficits in utilities, custodial services, like overtime, for sanitizing the schools. That wasn't part of the government funding.
Yeah.
And, some other before and after programs that had deficits due to the pandemic. So they're level funding that for next year. And there was a one time they noted, she sent out a statement. I have a question about it, but there was a one time, it's noted that there was a one-time premium holiday in FY21,
Mhm.
which was worth about 140,000.
A one-time what?
Premium holiday. And I need to ask more about what that is because I'm not, this is
So that's usually in a,
in regards to health insurance. So I don't.
yes, so there's 1 month out of the year that they don't take the premium out, like it's because there was savings somewhere. So they give the employees a break and don't take the premium out.
Does that normally happen? I've never heard of this.
Yeah, we actually had one in my community, not this year, last year.
Okay, so, okay.
Wow.
It's not like every year, it's not a common thing, but
Is
I've
that
seen it.
because of less utilization, like less claims? Or less expensive claims?
It has to do with, I could find out. I can find out for you.
Yeah, no, I'll ask too. I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask. I've
There's
never.
there's different reasons, whether it's because health insurance might have gone up, so that was a way for, them to,
Well,
the
they
union to accept it, so to speak. Yeah, I'm not 100% clear, but it is, I've heard of it.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that. But then again, I haven't been doing school budgets all that long. Used to hospital budgets, and I'll tell you, it never goes down. So those are the key updates that I have right now. We're meeting again next Tuesday, and I believe they're meeting with this school committee the day before. And then we'll see where that goes. Gary, did you say something? I couldn't hear you.
No, I didn't.
Okay, my computer is kind of fuzzing out a little bit.
So the bottom line figure on the budget isn't changing too much, or you're still too early to tell?
No, it's going up. That they definitely have a significant increase over.
Yeah. Or
It's going up almost 1.8.
yeah, but
Over
Kent, did you mean over last year or between now and when it's finalized?
over last year's budget.
Yeah, but I was wondering what Kent's question was.
Oh, where they are right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. And
I'm
then
kind of trying to figure a bottom line, how much they're going to want from us.
they had extra expenses, related to COVID. And
Yes,
then,
definitely.
the CARES Act that funds some of that. So,
Yep. All right.
Yeah, there were some other grants, I think, that the school got related to the.
There were, and trying to budget off of a pandemic year, it's really difficult to do.
Definitely. Have they got any projects they have to do? Like I remember 3 years ago, they had to do something with the swimming pool. And then another year they redid the track. Have they got anything pending like that right now? Do you know?
Discuss capital in great detail.
All right, nothing unusual then you're saying?
Nothing major.
Okay.
There's definitely some salary adds there, positions that were added.
Yeah, I'm sure, yeah.
Additional class restrictions. And then I know they added busing to make sure that there was space.
I would say was that
True.
because of the busing restrictions.
So they had to add transportation, because you can't have as many kids on the bus.
Right.
And then obviously salaries are going up for multiple reasons. There's there's normal schedule increases. They have minimum wage increase in there, and then they have additional.
Now, stuff related to COVID, is the state reimbursing some of that?
That's what the CARES Act is.
The CARES Act,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
It's
okay,
federal
yeah.
funding. The state doesn't cover anything. It's federal funding.
right.
Well, yeah, it comes through the state to get here, but yeah, all right.
Correct, yeah.
You know, the
Yeah,
state,
okay.
you know, their chapter 70 state aid, they did increase $30 per child.
Mhm.
That's potentially at one time.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw state aid pretty much it wasn't a big decrease, which I was expecting from previous years, so that's good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
typically it goes down for us,
Right.
you know, for communities like ours, it usually you start seeing it creep down, but you know, this year. I think it's just a tricky year to budget when we've had, you know, such an off year to go off of.
It certainly
Right.
is.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
Okay.
We have any other questions or issues to discuss?
I think I'm all set
I'm good.
until we see the budget from the town, because they're gonna have some unusual things in there too because of
Yeah.
COVID.
Yep. I guess I had one thought. I don't know if it'll come back to me. I had it a moment ago and it disappeared. What was it? Oh, it was about our own budget. I think I sent around in an email a week or two ago that I was thinking that we no longer really need a line item in our budget for supplies. I don't think we've spent any of that in the last
I
year.
want to shake that.
So I was thinking of eliminating that, not requesting it. So
How
can
much was
brief-
it, Gary, anyway,
I'll have to look it up. But I
approximately?
think it was probably about 400 or 500 bucks. Yeah.
I don't think I'd want to eliminate it just in case somehow we
my
get a new
thought- yeah.
secretary.
And my thought on that is once you eliminate it, you'll never get it back. It's easier to keep it and not use it than it is to take it away and get it back later,
Yeah.
True.
especially for an insignificant amount of money like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody's gonna cut the $500.
Yeah.
Not when the school department's going up 1.8.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I can't think of anything else. Does anybody know of any business that is coming up before the budget that we might need another meeting for?
I know nothing.
I haven't heard of anything.
Not unless the selectmen did something earlier this week. I didn't look at that
Yeah.
meeting yet.
Right. There was some talk in a previous meeting, or was it I can't remember where it came from. Might have been a selectmen's meeting where maybe it was an email from Kim about the financial statements, and she said that transfer station is getting close to reaching its budget limit, and she was going to suggest to Vicky that she submit a transfer request. So I don't know what the timeline of that will be, whether it's been done or whether it's
Well, it has to go through the selectmen first, and then they
Yes,
forward
right.
it to us.
right. So I don't know when that'll happen. It might be several months away. Okay, so that, yeah.
I think March 24th is the date that the Finance Committee is going to meet with the Bylaw Committee. and maybe present our, what we voted on tonight.
Oh, okay. Did we schedule that? I can't remember.
I think the
see.
bylaw committee kind of put it
think
out
we-
there, and I don't know if you got it or you
I
didn't.
think we
Yeah.
scheduled a meeting. I didn't know if the finance committee was gonna be part of that.
Yeah,
Well,
was that at our joint meeting?
Oh,
I'm thinking after the finance committee left, we probably come up with that date.
Oh, okay, because I don't have it on
but
my
that's a town meeting
calendar.
study. I don't think that was for the finance. That was for us to bring back.
Oh, okay.
That
So
could
it's not
be,
a-
that
I
could
don't
be.
think the finance committee needs to go to that.
All right, that could
But-
be,
Okay.
but that's the date that they'll see it.
Right, we scheduled a
Uh,
meeting for March 24th, but I know,
Okay.
that Mike wouldn't schedule a meeting without making sure that date and time was okay with Gary first.
Well, that's a good
Okay.
point.
Yeah.
So I think Gary, if you could write that up and send it to Mike, so he's got a heads up, and maybe
Right.
he'll send it to all the bylaw people.
Yep. Okay, will do. Yeah.
So he'll know what we're talking about, and then we'll see if it all flies, or part of it flies, or nothing sticks.
Yep. Okay. Sounds good. So shall we call it a night?
Think so.
Okay, I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, Christine. And who's seconding?
Katie?
Katie. All in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
Aye. Christine,
aye.
Carol? Carol, are you?
She's muted.
Muted.
Oh, I could read her lip though.
She's still muted.
Okay.
Thumbs up if you're voting yes. Okay, Katie,
Aye.
Kent.
Aye.
Okay, give Carol one more chance. Nope. Okay, Gary. Aye.
Aye.
There she is.
I
don't know what
Yeah.
Isn't
Okay,
Zoom
so
fun?
I bumped
Yeah,
something. I don't know
So-
what I bumped. Oh, there it is.
So we're adjourned at 6:50 p.m. Thank you all very much. And,
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good night, everyone.
Thanks,
See you
everybody.
next time.
Bye.
Good night, everybody. Bye for now.